Yo, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, traders? What's going on? Welcome back. A happy Freaky Friday, baby. We are going to dive into it. Why am I trying to set my coffee away? That's a terrible idea. Because I got to be drinking this bad boy. But yeah, man, we're going to dive into it. We're going to have some fun this morning. Talk about what we got going on in the market, the SPY, the Qs, my top stocks. And then take some time to look at yo stuff as well. What are you looking at? What do you think looks good today? I don't know, but we'll look at it. If it looks good, maybe I add it to my watch list and we build a plan on it. Oh, yeah. But yeah, guys, before we dive into it, hit me with the big old good morning. If you're on the Tickety Talk, if you're on the YT, hit me with a good old morning as well. And then, yeah, we'll dive into it. Todd, what's up, brother? Good morning. Corey, what's up, playa? What's crack-a-lackin'? All right, we're ready to get it, guys. I'm excited for today. Trucker Ed on TikTok. My man, what's cracking? What's up, man? I'm excited to be here, guys. As you guys can tell, as always, I am fired up. I am ready to go. Ah! Ah! All right, before we get it, I got to get my allergy stuff. Man, allergies down here in Florida are terrible. It's so bad. It's not good. Not at all. Ah, man, we're going to have some fun today. Good attitude? Aw, thanks, buddy. I always got a good attitude. Yeah, drop your location, guys. That's what I want you to do first. Drop your location. Let's get some engagement. Let's see where everybody's tuning in from. And then we'll have some fun, dive right into the charts, and get it rocking. I'm from Florida, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, if you're up in the Midwest, Michigan area, oh, it's cold, it's snowing. I feel bad for you. It's only like 85 degrees and sunny all the time. It's terrible down here in Florida. Yeah, you gotta take your L-theanine, man. L-theanine with coffee is a game changer, guys. It really is. We got Jersey in the house. What part of Jersey? Because my wife was from Jersey. She had like the first 12 years. She lived in Jersey, man. Like, really? You got a Jersey girl? Oh, yeah, I do. It's great. Keeps me in check, man. We said Amsterdam? That's what's up. Good morning. Lee, what's up, Lee? We got South Dakota, Illinois. Love it. Oh, that was a big one. Morning. What are we looking at today? We're going to dive into it right now, actually. It's always the SPY, the Qs. I want to get you guys game plans on those two. And then the only thing else that I saw today was Micron, ticker MU. So we'll take a look at Micron. Good morning, Beyond the Chaos. Feeling pretty chaotic today. The market can be chaotic. We get to rock and roll. We're going to make some money today. That's the goal, guys. I think we got some really nice opportunity in front of us. Not even just today, but even coming into next week with the SPY that Qs. Oh, I really like what we're looking like. I really like what we're looking like. That didn't make any sense, but it made sense to me. English is hard sometimes. All right. All right, we're good on YouTube now. We're going to dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Why is my camera flipped? You see that? It's different. It's like, boop, I'm to the left, and then boop, I'm to the right. Here's what we're going to do, is I'm going to make the camera better. Where's it at? Webcam, is that? Oh, there it is. Let's take this. Let's click the transform button. And let's rotate it. Ah, there we go. That's so much better. All right, let's do it, guys. Let's dive into it. Let's start with looking at your stocks, okay? Any stocks that you have on your radar you want to take a look at. Let's start there. If you guys just want to start with the SPY and the Qs, we can. I'll explain what we got. How do you guys sit here and listen to this guy? Because this guy is dropping gems all the time, shows up, provides a lot of free education, helps a lot of traders for free, make money. So, hey. And a lot of people would say I got a radio voice too, so it must be very soothing. Must be very soothing. AVGO. Let's look at AVGO. That was the first one that I saw here. I'm doing phenomenal, man. Doing great. Donald will definitely do Spy in the Qs. Totally a radio voice. That's why I launched a podcast. So here shortly, we'll have some episodes live with the podcast. So tune in. Check it out. The one person that said, how do you listen to me all day? Then I recommend probably not listening to the podcast because you're going to hear me talk a lot more. Okay, a lot more. I don't know if you're going to like that. All right, first one was AVGO. Daily chart, AVGO. You had this big gap down on AVGO. Looks like it was a body-to-body gap because you got inside the gap, you held inside the gap, and now you're pushing to the top end of that gap. So we know that we're going to have some resistance up around the top end of this daily gap. Are these all-time highs? They are all-time highs. We don't have supply at all-time highs. Most traders would probably come in here and mark this up as being a level of supply, which would be wrong. You have your little rally base drop, but again, that's up against all-time highs. It could be treated as like a light level, drill it down to like lower time frame, see if you have zones on zones. But again, all-time highs. Big gap down, though. That must have been something fundamentally driven that caused this to drop on January 24th. Was that when DeepSeek, was that the DeepSeek news where we saw that big drop in a lot of those AI stocks and like this got pulled down with it? I don't know if that was due to that DeepSeek news. That was Friday, January 24th. Let's go look at NVIDIA. Yeah, that was, I'm pretty sure that was that DeepSeek news that caused the market to drop on off back in late January. So with AVGO, we know that was fundamentally driven with that press release. So yeah, I mean, really, you don't have a lot on AVGO. The only thing that I can realistically see is maybe a short-term trade. I'm talking maybe like day trade up to 244.50. So if you see over the last couple of weeks, we found some resistance up here between 237 to 238 on AVGO. And we're going to have the top end of this gap being a level of resistance. All right. So like maybe if we break above this 237, 238, hold it, we could see a push on up to 244.64. You can like scalp that long, like on a day trade. If we ever come up to the top end of that daily gap, which is up there at 244.64, you could see a gap fill rejection where again, you know, you see some sellers stepping on in, you got less buyers up there near the top end of that daily gap, and that could hold as a resistance on AVGO. And yeah, you could see it drop on off if we come up and fill the gap at 244.64. But yeah, I mean, you're pretty limited right now with AVGO. I mean, you don't really have a lot over the past couple of weeks. You've just been choppy, choppy. Best trade that I see, hindsight's always 20/20, but best trade that I see that you could have been in was the gap fill long. We get inside the gap, we stay inside the gap, and now we start to push. If you're not long, you don't really have anything in front of you right now with AVGO. You got to sit back on your hands and be patient until we get up towards around that 244.50 mark. So who was asking about AVGO? There's Review Max. You're looking long? Yeah, you tread lightly with the long, dude. I would just say tread lightly with the long. Play it smart, play it safe. It comes down to risk reward. If we break and hold this zone, and I'm going to kind of pop this zone up a little bit so you can see it. I'm going to change the border. That zone right there, right? 237 to 238. If we can break and hold that, I may look for a day trade long up into the 244s. So let's look at risk reward. If we break the zone, hold the zone, and we see the opportunity to get long, I mean, entries would probably be like 238, stops at like 236.50, target the top end of the gap. You got a 5-to-1 risk reward. So, I mean, that's good risk reward. But the thing is that the most significant daily zone that we could have? Let's look at the touch points. High day rejection, high day rejection, high day rejection, low day bounce, a lot of resistance here, a lot of resistance, turn support. It's a good zone. You see all those touch points? It's a good zone. Come down, bounce, get below it, hit it as resistance, hit it as resistance, get above it, hold it as support, back below it, hit it as resistance. It's a great level, man. So yeah, if we can break and hold it as like intraday support, I would get long and start to trade that long into the 244s. I watch you because you teach people to wait for the area. Yep. I've been trading for 10 years, guys. That's a long time. Pretty much 10 years. If I do the math right, I'm not really good with math. And so, yeah, I struggled for 3 years. I chased the market. I would say, well, if it's gonna break and hold that zone, and I think that's gonna happen, let me just get in here. And I would get in here, and it would dump on me and never set up, and I would just lose a lot of money. And it was like unnecessary losses because I just chased the market. I got in at random times. I thought I knew how to predict the market versus wait for it. Like, I've learned the hard way, and I show up to teach you guys so you don't have to learn the hard way. Just wait. Learn how to be patient. Being patient is going to be the one thing that helps you be a solid trader. Wait for the zone to break. Wait for a proper setup, which is the retest. Map out your risk reward, get positioned correctly, build your plan, accept the loss, and then have some fun and make some money. I looked at HIMS this morning, the things at all-time highs. There's nothing at all-time highs, guys. Nothing at all-time highs. So HIMS, the thing's ripping. You might get some momentum and continuation out of it, but I'm sketchy with things that are ripping like this in the all-time highs. Because, like, when's the dang thing going to pull back? Can you see a continuation pop today? You can. Look at that massive push yesterday. Nice increase in volume as well. We traded like 43 million shares, which is very, very high compared to its average. And you see how we had a strong close near high a day? If you're going to get a second day of upside continuation, what you want to do is mark up the previous day's high and close with the zone. So go ahead and mark up yesterday's close and high a day with a nice little rectangle tool. And if you're going to get that second or third day of upside momentum and see it push higher, what you want to see is a gap up on day 2, come back down, fill the gap into yesterday's high and close, hold that level as intraday support, and then flip green on the day, and then start to rip. We call that the flip and rip. So it would open here, it would flip red, fill the gap, hold support, flip green, and rip. The flip and rip. That's kind of what you're looking for with any kind of like continuation play to scalp this momentum to the upside. So mark up yesterday's close and high, flip that into a 5-minute. It's already respecting it, dog. You see how it already came down to that previous level and bounced here in pre-market? All right, so it's showing it's being respected. I like that. So yeah, man, here's the deal with HIMS. HIMS. Zone 59.19 to 59.56. If you can open above that level today, pull into it. Hold it as support with good price action and start to push out of it. You could have a long back up to pre-market highs of 62.40. 62.40 would be your first target. I would look to just scalp this upside momentum, right? I would look to get in, get out with like, say, 70 to 80% of my position. If I thought the thing could rip higher, then what would I do? Put a stop at break even on the other 20 to 30% of my position. So if I took 10 contracts on HIMS, I would take 7 of them off the table at pre-market highs, take the other 3 contracts, hard stop at break even, and let the bad boy go. What's the worst that could happen? It comes down and stops you at break even on the 3 contracts, but you made good profit on the 7 that you sold. And if it goes up to 65.80, guess what? You're printing. You're just printing. That's how I would look to trade HIMS. HIMS and HERS. It's for all the traders, not just HIMS. It's for HERS too. All right, that's HIMS. You got me just wanting to like watch it today now, man. All right, what's next on the list? Let's go flip the YouTube and make sure we don't miss you guys. Check out Josh's video from the live Wednesday. It was very informative on how we trade. Perfect example of how we make money without losing money. Yeah, guys, do it. Faux show. Do you guys want a free training? Give me a thumbs up on TikTok if you guys want me to hook you up with a free training. It's like it's a decent length one, so I would say you need to carve out like an hour of your time, but if you carve out an hour of your time and get focused on watching this live trading session that I put together with my students, you're going to be like, yo, that's how you trade. That's simple. That's easy. I love the attitude. I love the approach. I love the discipline. I love the patience. You're sitting back, letting the market come to you. All right, market's coming to you. How do you build plans? How do you get prepared? How do you get in? How do you get out? It was a wonderful session. It was awesome. And so you're going to see firsthand what it looks like to trade like a pro. And if you can see somebody in the real market trading like that consistently, you can learn from that process. You can learn from that attitude. Don't you think it's going to help you guys become a better trader? I think so. So here's the deal. Do you guys see that little button on the lower left-hand corner of your TikTok? You see that little DM button? If you click that, it's going to pop open a DM field. You could say, yo, I want that free coaching lesson. So just say coaching lesson. I want that free coaching lesson. And I will send you guys a link to the lesson for you guys to watch it. It's going to be a great experience. It's really going to help you guys out. All right. All right, what's next? Let's go SPY and Qs. But yeah, send me the DM, guys. All right, SPY and the Qs, let's do it. Do it. So disregard a lot of this extra analysis that I have. I'll explain it here in a moment. But what we're focused on are these zones. These are going to be our key significant zones of support resistance right on the daily. Right? You can see I have some green boxes and some other shit on my chart as well. It's okay. It's called confluences. I continue my analysis to paint a picture of where I think the best trades can occur. So I'll explain that here in a moment. But we're focused on the blue zones. Those are your daily zones, significant zones of support resistance. All right. I'm sure my DMs popped off. Yes. Top zone on the SPY today. Top zone of resistance, 609.74 to 609.97. Working our way down. Next key zone, 607.79 to 608.13. Next zone down, 605.38 to 605.87. And then this lower zone here, 602.32 to 602.75. Now, if you're like, Josh, you listed those off very quick. Well, if I explain it, it's going to take me 20 minutes. So if you guys are on YT, I can't say it, but YT, you know what I'm talking about. The stream's going. You can rewind the stream and actually hear me again, list those zones off and put them on your charts. All right. So that's what we got here. Those are your most significant levels, right? You got tap, 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 yesterday's high and close. You got 5 touch points off the top zone. Next zone down, tap, 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 big move. That's 3. Nice big move. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 7 points off that zone with some sharp, significant moves off of it. That looks sexy. Next zone to the downside, gap up, open, nice push, high day rejection, low day bounce, high day rejection. Got 4 touch points right in that region, high day rejection, high day rejection. That's got like 10 points in it, so that's a solid zone as well. And then we work down to the very next one down here. We break it, hold it, tap, tap, nice push in the all-time highs, retest it, nice push, retest it, nice push, retest it, nice push. Look at all those touch points back there. We crack below it, we get below it, stay below it, nice big drop on off, followed by even more touch points off that zone this week, showing that it is being validated by traders. All right, so those are the best of the best. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip down into a 4-hour time frame, and we're going to see what we have on a 4-hour. Okay, last thing I want to mention too is we're starting to notice that we're starting to get back into an uptrend. Okay, so you can see here for a good amount of time we were in a nice little uptrend, but then we shifted. We put in this high, lower low, lower high, lower low. You can see that we have that start of a downtrend, but you bounce here last Monday, put in this lower high, higher low, higher high. So now you can start to see we're starting to reverse back into a nice little daily uptrend here, which is important. Why is that important? Because if you're looking for follow through on your trades, like a day trade, for example, let's say that it comes down into the zone and you get in and you want to scale out and hold runners. Well, if you're in a downtrend and you're getting long and you want to scale and hold runners, probably not going to work because overall trend is down. You could see more downside. Overall trend is up on the higher time frame. We can validate that. So if we get long today, for example, would I want to try and scale out and hold a runner to capitalize on this move up? Yes. But let's say I see a short setup, because I'll still take a short today. Let's say we come up to that 609 zone, top out, and roll on over. Am I looking to hold a runner and scale out? No. Why? Because I don't expect to see follow through to the downside as we're in a nice little uptrend. Will I still scalp that for a nice profit? Yeah, to the short side, I'll scalp it for a nice profit. But I'm not really expecting to see follow through, so I'm not going to scale out and try and capitalize on runners. But to the long side, I will. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, that's how you get positioned on trades. You just got to look at everything. All right. 4-hour time frame. We have a little bit of this 4-hour demand here, right? We have this nice little rally, base rally. So we got this nice little 4-hour block of demand. Flip it down into a 1-hour time frame, and you can start to overlap your demand zones. So now we can mark up that little 1-hour demand that's right over the top of that 4-hour demand. What else do you notice about those two demand zones on the 1-hour and the 4-hour? It's right where that daily zone is between 602.32 to 602.75. That's called a confluence. When you have different forms of technical analysis that line up at the same price point, that's called a confluence. Because let's be real, that daily zone of support has nothing to do with 1-hour, 4-hour demand at all. They're two completely different ways of analyzing the market. They have nothing to do with each other. But what happens? They line up at the same price. That's called a confluence. That just increases the probabilities and the odds that that's a great level to get long off of, that you can see the market move higher off that level. Just a very, very good level. What's something else you notice as well? Well, if you take a fib retracement tool from Wednesday's low a day, the swing low, up into yesterday's high a day, take a Fibonacci retracement tool from swing low to swing high. What else do you notice that lines up with that daily zone of support and multiple time frame demand? What do you guys notice? That's right where we have what? One of our fib levels. Is that anything to do with support resistance? Does that fib have anything to do with supply and demand? It doesn't. That's a confluence, right? It's another form of analyzing the market, and it just so happens to line up at the same exact area that our other analysis does. So that gives us 3 confluences, 3 separate reasons that say if we get down into the 603 level, we could see a nice big bounce. So will I be looking to get long down here? F yes. Absolutely. 100%. So that's going to be a great level if we get there today. We may not get there today, but come into next week, that analysis is still valid. We may need to readjust it a little bit, but overall, it'll still be a valid level to look to play long off of on the spot. Then you got some hour, 30-minute demand here as well. I just don't like this top demand zone, because you can see here that after we gapped up on that next big green candle, we already came down, filled a lot of those unfilled orders, and then shot out. Could there still be some unfilled orders present at this level? Yes, but you already see we have 1 point before the push out. So that's just the only thing that conflicts. It's not as clean as this bottom zone. You already see it comes in and pushes out. But then you flip it to a 30-minute, you can get some overlap. You get some 30-minute overlap. The same thing, 30-minute candle comes in, pushes out. But here's why I still like that level, that 1 hour, 30-minute demand. Why do I still like it? Because we have that daily zone of support sitting right at 605.38 to 605.87. It lines up with demand. That's 2 reasons. What else do you notice with that fib? That's where the 38.2 fib retracement is. So not only do we have some hour, 30-minute demand, yeah, it came into it once, it shot out. You have a key daily zone of support, and that's where the 38.2 fib's sitting. Does that make me feel confident that we get down to that 605 region, we can push out of it? Oh, yeah, I think we can. And that's what I'm looking at for today, guys. So that's all of our top-down analysis, daily time frame to the 4 hour, to the 1 hour, to the 30-minute. We're painting this vivid picture of where can we see the best movement in the market. Because I don't just want to get 10, 20 cents out of a trade. I want to put myself in the best position to make as much money as possible with the least amount of risk, right? If I can risk $100 to make 5, 6, $700, that's the trade I want to take. Not the trade where I lose 100 to make 100. That makes no sense. So these are the best of the best areas to look for trades. We're just painting this vivid picture of what we could realistically see in the market today. So now that we have all of our analysis done, this is what it looks like on a 5-minute time frame. This is a 5-minute time frame. So now what do? We wait for the stock to get to one of these levels. When the stock gets to one of those levels, we see how price is moving, order flow, price action, price development, read price. And then if we see what we want to see at these levels, we just take trades with good risk, good reward. That's it. Low risk, high reward. And again, we just take trades off of these higher time frames, significant levels. 70 to 80% of the time, you're going to see moves. You're going to see the trade in your favor. You're going to be profitable. But the biggest thing that most traders struggle with is discipline, sitting back and actually waiting for the stock to get to one of those zones. That's the only downside that traders struggle with is their mindset. But if you can just sit back on your hands and do nothing until we come to one of these areas and we have good price action, now you're looking to get in on the right side of the trade. And that's all I'm looking to do. We hit resistance and we fail to break it, I get short. We come down to support and stay above it, I get long. If we break and hold resistance, I get long. If we fall below support, stay below this resistance, I get short. I'm literally just looking for a trade to present itself off one of these levels. That's it. And that's why the win ratio is extremely high. And that's why I take more quality setups than the quantity of setups. Like, I'm not the trader that scalps 10 times, 20 times a day for like 50 bucks here, 50 bucks there, while trading one-to-one risk rewards like you see a lot of people doing on TikTok. It's like they'll build a plan. It's like, yeah, it's a one-to-one. Like, what? No, and they're taking like 20 trades a day. Like, what? I want 2 or 3 great trades a day that have the potential to make me the most amount of money with the least amount of risk. My objective is to come in, take the best trades, make the most amount of money in the least amount of time. And that should be your objective too. That's the SPY, guys. All right, do we have any questions about the SPY before we move on? You guys, does that all make sense? I know we ripped through it pretty quickly, but I do tend to explain myself multiple times. I say the same shit over and over. So it just kind of clicks and it resonates. But if you guys can see that, and that's making sense on how we're finding the zones, how we're doing multiple time frame analysis, how we're painting this picture of what we could see today and how we would like to trade the market, if that all makes sense, you're on the right path. Gotta get this stupid pouch out of my mouth. That's my one bad habit, is the stuff. Can we get the likes up too? Oh, you guys are already getting the likes up. Much appreciated. Let's keep them going, guys. I think like minimum every day we should get like 20,000 likes. And then share it too. Like, sharing the stream goes like such a long way. And that's the only thing I ask for, guys. It's like, I show up. I don't ask for anything in return besides likes and shares. Support me like I support you guys. I show up at least minimum 3 days a week on TikTok for at least an hour. Sometimes 4 days a week. Sometimes I leave the stream open so you guys can watch us trade together. There's a lot of value here. You guys are learning a lot for free. So the least that I ask is support me like I support you with likes and shares. It means a lot, guys. It really does. Cool, you guys are good on that? Dope. Do you want to go right to the Qs? Or do you guys want to look at a different stock that's on your watch list? How do we trade zone the zone? In its simplest form, we wait for the market to open. Check. We wait for the stock to start getting close to one of these zones. The closer we get, we just assess the zone. Is this support or resistance? If we say, okay, this is going to be a key level of resistance where I expect price to fall, what would I want to do? Get short or trade puts? What I like to do is I like to teach newer traders this. At that zone, put a middle line at the zone. Because a lot of newer traders cannot yet read price action. Sometimes they get in like right here, which is way too early. Sometimes they're just not able to like pinpoint the best entry, but that skill comes in time with more screen time and just more repetition. So what I like to teach newer traders is you have a great zone, but where do I get in? Right? Until we learn that skill, just put a middle line right in your zone. And so if we start to come up into that zone of resistance and you're like, I'm going to get short and play puts because it's resistance and I expect to see price fall, the next step is easy. Go ahead and build a plan to the short side. Make your entry right at that purple line to make it simple. Put your stops maybe 10 to 15 cents above the zone. So we're going to run our stop about 10 to 15 cents above the zone. And then just set a standard 2-to-1 risk reward or a standard 3-to-1 risk reward to start. Right now, are you going to see some trades hit 2-to-1 and then stop you out? Yes. Right. But I think this is the simplest way to teach a newer trader in the beginning to get a few trades under their belt, to understand how to read price action, how to build plans, how to execute trades flawlessly, how to manage risk, take profit, etc. I think this is a great foundation. And then from there, we can get more advanced. We can start looking for confluences. We can learn how to read price action to get better entries. We learn how to manage our trades, how to scale out. But you can't do all of those things until you get some trades under your belt, right? So that's how I like to teach newer traders is like, okay, there's a zone of resistance. You want to play puts. Where do I get in? Keep it simple day one, right in the middle. Put stops 10 to 15 cents above the zone. Set a standard 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk reward. And then the next step is wait for price to hit that purple line. When price hits the purple line, you buy your puts. If price comes up and hits that red area, your stop, you just close your puts for a loss. All right. And if we get down into your target, you just sell your puts for a profit. And you're just going to do that for your first 5 to 10 trades to get in some reps. And then things start to pick up from there. We start to get a little bit more advanced with it. But that's what I teach newer traders. Jay Bosa, you like the content? I like you, man. I like you. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate the kind words as well. I've already looked at Tesla. And Tesla does not look good today. So I don't want to waste your time with it. Hit me up on Monday, and maybe Tesla looks good. How did you map out your zones? I actually have a free training on that. Do you guys want that free training on how I find my daily zones? Because I have like a nice long training that's like game changer stuff that'll really help you guys out. I'll hook you guys up with it for free if you want it. You want it? Send me a DM, guys. If you want me to send you the link to that training, just shoot me a DM. There's a little DM button at the bottom left-hand corner of the live. There's like a little message icon. Pretty sure if you click that, it pops up like a message field to where you can shoot me a DM directly. And so just, yeah, send me a DM. I'm going to check it too. I want to make sure it is there. Do you guys see that little message icon? Well, I'm going to go look at my own live stream and see. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, it's right there. See that little message icon? Lower left-hand corner. Okay. You click it, it'll pop up a little DM. It's going to pop up a little DM field. And then you just send me a message. Hi. Then you hit send. And then you can close out and you're still in the stream. That's fancy stuff. That's fancy. Yeah, so just send me a DM, guys, and I'll hook you up with a link to the training. I got lots of trainings too, so tell you what, if you say, hey, I want the training, great, I'll give it to you. But then just kind of fill me in with where you're at as a trader. Are you brand new? Are you struggling? Like, where are you? Because I have other trainings that I can hook you guys up with for free. I don't mind. And yeah, you guys can join the free community too. I always forget to tell you guys about the free community. But before we dive into our next stock, let me just show you where you join the free community. Do this after the stream, because like you'll have to leave the stream to go do this. But when the stream's done at 9, go to my profile page on TikTok, and then click the Linktree link that's in my bio. And then click where it says join free community. Scroll down, and you guys can join the free community, and there's even more stuff in the free community. Like I give you guys support, some free guidance, recommendations. We help you. We got lots of free trainings, all kinds of stuff that we do, guys. All right, what's next on the list? The Discord is awesome. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I say it's not bad. The Discord's okay. I built my own platform. And we're not using it now because it's getting developed. So I say it's okay because I like the platform that I built. But it'll come back soon. But the free community is awesome. Discord's okay. Yeah, there's a lot of free people in the Discord, and they're making money. Just following the guidance, getting support, going through the trainings. I mean, check out, was it Dustin yesterday? Was it Dustin? He's a free member. So check out Dustin. Today was one of my best days, thanks to you guys. He made $2,300, and he's not even in the mentorship. He just watched all of the lessons. He asks questions. He says, guys, I need help. Will you help me? And we come together and support him and help him. That's what it's here for. And he put on a $2,300 trade, I guess, yesterday. So you guys learn a lot for free. And there's no other community like this that does what we do on a high level for free. It's like we really want to change the game for traders. Really want to help you guys out. No strings attached. Just join. It's free, and then take advantage of it. There's no place like home. All right, what's next on the list? Hey, when you're in an options trade and news hits that makes the move. I do. Big Ron, yes, I do. Scrolling up to make sure I didn't miss any tickers. Where's the next one? RXRX. It'd be good if I could type it in right. Pharmaceutical company, small cap. I don't like small caps. I built my career on small caps. I haven't traded small cap penny stocks in a long time. Nice little daily curl. Nice daily curl. I mean, look at that. From the sell-off, it's just curling, building itself on up. Looks like it could get ready for some kind of like parabolic push, but it's going to need a catalyst to get it going. That's one thing with penny stocks, guys, is like there needs to be a catalyst to get it going, and then it needs to retain eyeballs. Like traders need to keep looking at it to keep trading it to push it higher. So it's going to need a catalyst to get this thing going. You got earnings coming up March 4th. That could be the catalyst that gets this going. You could see press releases before and after. That could be the catalyst that gets this going. Catalyst is basically a reason for the stock to move, right? So like a PR, an article, earnings. But I like this curl up on the daily. This nice tight, big old U-shaped formation. Looks decent. You got to just map out all of this overhead resistance. So look at all of that overhead resistance that you have on RXRX. That's between 846 to 870. And you just kind of see that after we got below that level, we've stayed below it for quite some time. So here's the deal with RXRX. If we can get above that zone, and I'm going to readjust that zone. I want it to be as tight as possible. If we can get above this 850 to 875 region and stay above that level as support, I see room to 950. Then I see room up to $10. So, I mean, maybe $1.25 to the upside. Oh, would you look at that? It's already gapping above that level on RXRX. Was there news today? Price target maintained. That was 7 days ago. RXRX exceeds market returns. Some facts to consider. That was 2 days ago. Was there any other news on RXRX? Let's go see if there's news on RXRX. No. Why am I not signed in? Anyway. Yeah, dude. So here's the deal. RXRX. Key zone support 850 to 875. You want to see it hold as support today. If it does, you can get long back up to these pre-market highs in the 930s. And then we have daily resistance at 950 and then 10. So like you can get about $1, maybe $1.25 of upside on this small cap penny stock. I mean, shit, you take 1,000 shares of this, you could literally get stops below 850 and you run up $1, you make $1,000 on 1,000 shares. And that's not a terribly big position on a small cap. I think there's potential with RXRX, man. It's got that really nice daily curl, right? It's finally above all of that resistance. As long as you now hold all of that resistance as support, yeah, I think you could see it as high as like 930, 950, and then like $10 on RXRX. I think it looks decent. If I was in the small cap world trading small cap penny stocks, I would be all over this today. Cool. Let's get those likes up. If I am helping you guys, if you ask the question and I help you and you're like, damn, man, that was like some golden nugget type stuff, or wow, thank you, just get the likes going. That's all I ask. I help you, you help me. Like, wow, that was great. Thank you so much. I don't know, just get the likes going, share it too. It like helps out a lot. All right, what's next on the list? We just looked at RXRX. I got time for like one or two more. Snap was the next one I saw. Snap is ugly. It doesn't look good at all. Yeah, I mean, just from a basic technical support resistance, look at all that support you have on Snap. You see all that support you have on Snap right up against these lows. So you got a great support level on Snap between like 1038 to 1060. Every time you come into that zone, you pop out of it. Come into the zone, you pop out of it. Come into the zone, you pop out of it. But what's the last thing you noticed? The first time you came into the zone and you popped out of it, you retested resistance. Came back to the zone, popped out of it, you retested resistance. Came back to the zone, popped out of it, you did not make it up to resistance. What'd you see? You saw it come right back down into support and pop out of it again, but it's making lower highs. That looks no bueno. A stock that's building lower highs into a daily level of support, typically it falls below it and moves lower. So here's what I would do as a reference. I would put a trend line up against those lower highs. Because if you like come to the trend line and come back down to that zone, pop out of the zone again and keep making lower highs, this long does not look bueno. It doesn't look good at all. I would say there's like some realistic potential to see this thing move lower on Snap. And if you see, like, there's probably some like demand here. I mean, you got this drop, base, rally. So there's like this little basing candle to pop up, basing candle to pop up. But I mean, look at how beaten up that zone would be. I mean, that zone would be pretty beaten up. Weekly time frame, you're not in an uptrend nor a downtrend. You're sitting sideways. So, I mean, I don't like that. Even if some traders come in and say drop base rally and they try and mark this demand up, take it left, you see it's a continuation off all of this. So, yeah, I don't like that. That doesn't look good. Trend is sideways. That doesn't look good. Even if you come in and say, okay, here's demand down here, which I don't like that candle. You go left, it's just a continuation. I don't like that. I would go just flip straight support resistance at this point, but we're building lower highs into support. I don't see anything yet on Snap. I don't see a lot on Snap. Based on everything that I just discussed, it just doesn't look like a really good actionable trade that would carry some like high reward and low risk. It just looks eh. You know what I mean? You ever look at a stock and you're like, eh? That's like my knee-jerk response when I look at Snap is like, eh. I don't think yet. I think, let's keep watching it and let's see if it does do something different. And the more movement we get, the more days that we have in front of us, the more analysis that we can do. Maybe there's something there in the future, but like today for any kind of day trade or swing trade, eh. That's it. Just a big old eh. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about SoFi either. I mean, SoFi, I cut my long-term position on this. I think it was back in it was December. I cut all of that. I never rebought yet because I'm waiting for some lower levels to get tagged. But let's look at SoFi. Last one on SoFi. Let's go start with our largest time frame. Well, rally base rally down here. So there's going to be some monthly demand. There's your top base. So there's going to be some big supply up there. We're just doing our larger time frame analysis. Downtrend on the monthly was broken right there. Created demand before the break. Okay, so we got our main areas here on the monthly. We'll flip that down into a weekly. We have that little drop base rally, There's your little rally base rally here. I don't like that demand. I say that's a decent level right there. At least, you know, that candle looks a lot better. But I mean, that's low. I mean, that's all the way down at like 8. You do have that little hiccup candle. So you have that little rally base rally. So you got that hiccup candle right here. We can go ahead and mark that area up down around 10. Right, nice little pop. You even had this one right here. You already came down into it, tapped it, popped out of it. So you have that little rally, base rally. You got the little candle you can mark up there. You kind of tapped it. That's still not been mitigated. So, I mean, that would still be actionable. That's all just weekly analysis. Let's go back and look at the weekly. You'd have all of that weekly supply up there. So let's go mark that up. Supply, okay. That's a big weekly, but you got monthly on weekly, weekly on monthly on a couple of these supply and demand zones. Looks good. But you're still far off. Back down to a daily. What do we got on the daily? Startup price, look left. This was demand back here. Let's change the color of that one to demand. Yeah, I mean, you had that nice little weekly level. That was that little hiccup that you saw. Nice area. Then you got this little drop base rally. That's a nice little daily demand down here. Around 13 to 1360. You kind of hit it right here. Nothing crazy. Shot on up. You could probably throw some demand there. I don't like that candle, though. Just one big candle body. I don't like it. I would focus more on that 13 to 1360 demand because it's weekly on daily. So that's like the next area that I see on SoFi that I would get long. And then if we go look at like daily supply, you're going to have a couple little levels in here. You got some up here. You got a little bit right here at 20. You got a little bit right here at 1850. Let's look at recent price, though. I'm going back far. So here's your rally. There's your base. There's the drop. But that was a drop off earnings. So I would tread lightly with that one up here because it was a drop off earnings. You're closer to demand than you are supply. I wouldn't mark that up, though, because it was an earnings gap. And then what is your trend? Your trend is up. Your trend is up. So you got high, higher, low, higher, high. Higher low, higher high, working on the higher low. So trend's still up. I would consider maybe getting long on SoFi if we ever get back down into that 13 to 1360. Come down, hold that zone on up, and maybe pop back out of it. I think that'd be a good little area to look at. But like for today, for a day trade, I don't see too much. For a swing trade, I think you're too far off. I would be looking down around the low to mid 13s. For anything actionable with SoFi. I just don't see anything yet. Yeah, I don't really see a whole lot yet. You got to be hands off on SoFi. There's just nothing there yet. You can run a fib on this if you wanted to. Like you can go from swing low up to that swing high. You already hit the 50, you popped out of it. Now you're hitting the 78.6 and popping out of it. I don't trade anything lower than the 618 on the fib. So I would take that fib away. If we throw it back up into like a weekly time frame and you go like bigger picture, you would go swing low, swing high. But you broke above it. I wouldn't run it up here personally. Yeah, I don't like the fib on the weekly. On the daily, though, it would be swing low, swing high, but you're already below those fib levels, so I couldn't justify a fib. You could put a little bit of an uptrend here if you wanted SoFi, just as a reference, right? You got a little trend line. You got this higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We may not come back down into that weekly, daily demand zone. You just may not. You may come down to this trend line and hold it. And then as far as like just standard levels of support resistance, you know, I like to stay in my lane, but I also like to understand other shit. I would go ahead and throw a little support resistance line on up. Just kind of looking at these highs and these lows, like right in this region where you get a couple touch points right there. It's not bad. You got high rejection, high rejection, high rejection, break, retest, push. Nice little bounce, bounce, resistance, support. To me, got like a light level of support down around 1422 to 1432. But again, it's a light level of support. I don't think there's anything on SoFi right now, guys. I mean, I think, again, in the coming weeks, maybe there's something on SoFi in the coming weeks. But right now, like at this very moment, it just hasn't really been presenting too much the last couple of weeks, but still keep it on watch. You always can see it's on the top of my list. I like SoFi long term. When it moves, it moves. There's definitely actionable trades with SoFi, but today, no. Within the week, I don't even think anything within the week, but something that we still take a look at periodically, do analysis on it, and see what we have. I would try to not be in an active trade when news hits. Then always look at your economic calendar to get an idea. There's always going to be those unforeseen variables, like a tweet by the president, like we saw last Friday at 10:59, and the market dropped 2 points within the blink of an eye. You're always going to have those unforeseen events, unforeseen variables that move the market. But to get a really, really good idea of do we have any key events or data for the day, just always look at your economic calendar. Today, Friday, February 14th, what do we have coming up? We have industrial production data, 9:15. We got business inventories at 10, but it's medium impact. And you got Fed Logan at 3 o'clock. Again, that's medium impact. So we don't have any high impact news or events today. You're pretty much just going to be in the clear, in my opinion. You're going to be in the clear. You don't have, again, a lot of high impact news or events. So you're good. But always look at your economic calendar, guys. Just always look at the economic calendar. Get an idea of what's coming up. Get positioned for those events and news releases. And you guys are good. Yeah, on SoFi, we're working hard. When I got to work that hard, I already know there's nothing. But if I do analysis, I'm like, dang, that looks good. then yeah, I'll take it. But if I'm like forcing something, it's like negative Ghost Rider. A negative. All right, I got to go. It's time for the Zoom session with my students. So if you guys have any questions about working with us and the mentorship, you can send me a DM here on TikTok if you guys want. If you guys are on YouTube, go to my TikTok profile. You can shoot me a DM. More than happy to answer any questions you guys have. If you're curious about working with us and really getting your trading going and get a good start to it. If you guys want the free trainings that I was talking about, go ahead and shoot me a DM as well. Hook you guys up with some free trainings. Join the free community. Link is in the profile. We're always here to help you guys out. Want to support you and see you guys win. You guys start making some money as traders. All right, so we're here to help you guys out any way we can. Let me know. All right, but stay blessed. All right, take care of yourselves. I will see you back here Monday. So have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you guys back here on TikTok and the Tube. 8 o'clock this Money Monday. Peace out, guys. Tuesday, yeah, markets close Monday, so Tuesday. Thank you, Trucker Red. Thank you, buddy. I'll see you guys. Stay blessed.